Carl Anka, Manchester United correspondent of The Athletic. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. It's a Friday. Amarin's just done his press conference. It doesn't seem like everyone's too banged up. So, a good weekend ahead. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Still just about basking in the glory of last weekend because it's like I said, it's been too long, nearly 10 years. So
I've watched that game 3 times now. So you do it once for work, another one half for work, half for pleasure, and then I watch it again the third time, just as a little treat to myself.
well, I mean, the first time never counts because you cannot physically enjoy that fixture
Yeah,
unless you're 3
yeah.
nil up straight away. And to be fair, I've been 3 nil, been watching it when we've been 3 nil up in 20 minutes and we still didn't win. That was 1994. So yeah, it's unenjoyable. So the second and third watch is not a bad shout, to be fair.
Nice one.
But I know for a fact that you watched it at least once so you could run the rule over Matheus Cunha, and that's what I'd like to
Hmm.
talk to you about. There weren't
Yeah,
any numbers really to back it up, but I thought he was magnificent and really influential on the collective. For me, it was his best game yet since he signed. What did you think of him?
it was an important game. So. We are now in the age of 007 football memes where every football player is meant to score in their debut and start like a house on fire and immediately push themselves in consideration for your fantasy football team. But Cunha started relatively slowly compared to two or three of the other signings in Manchester United shirt. And I think whether you want to or not, that builds pressure. I think especially in the summer where Cunha arrived with Mbumo. And part of the reasoning to signing those two players were they were Premier League proven and therefore would need a shorter onboarding period. It was important that Cunha had a good performance in one of the bigger games so that everyone can go, that's why Manchester United bought him. That's why we bought him. That's the person who's here today. And look, again, didn't score, didn't assist, didn't do too many things that are gonna get featured on Match of the Day, but you watch the full game for 90 minutes, and there's a 10, 15-minute period where I think every single Manchester United fan is watching going, I'm so glad Cunha's here.
Absolutely. It's for me, it's the eye test. I mean, since he walked into
Hmm.
the building, really, he's had that kind of intangible look of a United player. He strikes me as, I like the phrase, a load-bearing player, which we've not had enough of
Okay.
in recent years. And there's a wonderful picture of him walking out. You know, that both teams are coming out in the lineups at Anfield, and he just looks absolutely locked in, ready, totally comfortable, just like he's looking forward to it. And that's the kind of thing that, to me, has been missing a lot from the collective psyche.
A hunger and a readiness. I think I sat in many a press conference last season, and Amarin talked about the lack physicality and the need for more physicality. And I think he even explained United aren't doing too well in the league because they're not physical enough, but in the Europa League they are physical enough, and it's that sort of Cunha brings that physicality, and he brings some added bite at a time where United were getting smaller in two or three key areas. Omar Barada said, dare I say it, Cantona-esque, and I think two or three people said Cantona-esque. Bit too early for that for me. Bit too early for that for me. But you're totally right in terms of there have been so many times in the post-Ferguson years where you are watching games and you can't help but shake the feeling that Manchester United players are scared or Manchester United players don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Whereas it feels like just a little bit more this season already. There are two or three players where they're going, I'm up for this. And look, that doesn't necessarily mean much. I've seen two or three players look up for it and then they lose 3-1 against Brentford. But the if you can minimize that fear and you can minimize that sort of aimless football that has afflicted too many Manchester United players in the past, that's better. I like the fact that Cunha's got a bit of needle to him as well, because one thing that has annoyed me in recent years is if it looks like there's a fight on the field, very often it's one United player up against four. Whereas one thing I used to really, really enjoy, and neither player is currently at United right now, but one thing that always warmed my heart just a little bit was if Marcus Rashford ever got fouled, Jesse Lingard would be straight over.
Yeah.
And I want to see more of that. I want to see more of that sort of, hang on, if you want to mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. And Cunha feels like someone who can fold into that slightly scrappier categorization.
Well, you touched on it in your piece about the some of the dark arts, running down the
Hmm.
clock, mystery cramp, violent, sudden mystery cramp, which just ate up some valuable seconds. You know, concern for opponents that don't really need concern. It's just
Uh-huh.
game management, isn't it? And that, I suppose, it relates to the previous points. It's a bit more nous.
Yeah, game management, sanding the gears. One thing that really, really annoys me, just in general when I'm watching a football game, is a team that keeps trying to attack in first half stoppage time, right? So there's a phrase in Russian where they describe a goal scored in first half stoppage time as a goal for the dressing room or a goal for the locker room because it just rumours whatever your halftime team talk is for. And for far too long at Manchester United, I've seen goals, oh God, you just know that's ruined whatever Ten Hag wanted to say, or whatever Ragnick wanted to say, or whatever Aaron wanted to say, because they're not focusing. They're not trying to maintain that scoreline for halftime. And you want little skills like that. It's the bit where if the ball goes out for an opportunity throw in, don't give them the ball. Don't give him the ball unless you're trying to play really quickly. If you want to throw sand in the gears, and Cunha's last 20 minutes at Anfield was I'm not sure if we're allowed to swear, so I'll use the word
Go for
Nazi
it.
instead. Okay, so he was a shithouse, right? He
Yeah.
shithoused his way. He helped shithouse United's way into winning those last 20 minutes. There are loads of times where he's getting the ball and he's just going shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, elbow to elbow with two or three players. Great little clash he had with Jeremy Frimpong, where he's like, I'm just going to keep wriggling the ball away from him. So that's technical artistry there. But also, yeah, sand in the gears, proper sand in the gears. I love that bit in 96th minute. So the ball comes pinging out and he's running with the ball, realizes he's likely to get fouled, so he slows down a little bit. And when he does get fouled, first he yells at the referee, and then he suddenly remembers he's got cramp and gets Ugarte and Maguire to help stretch his calf because you eat up more seconds. He also did my favorite bit of shithousery and my favorite bit of gamesmanship, which you can tell he played at Atletico Madrid at least for a little bit. So this is a favorite of Simeone's Atletico Madrid, particularly in their peak years, which is when you foul someone, the very first thing you do after you make the foul is you stand on the spot. So they can't take a quick free kick. You're just in the way. And then if the referee does then try and argue and tell you to move, you then point to where you did the foul instead and go, no, 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 no. It's not here. It's there. It's there. It's there. And it's a great. Simeone's Atletico have done it all the time. There is a fantastic Europa League game they've got against Arsenal, and they just repeatedly do it, and Arsenal can't get going. And it's the best way you can eat up 2 minutes. And if you do it properly, which Cunha does do properly very, very well, you can easily avoid a booking and just keep doing it multiple times. Harry Maguire does this every now and again if he's
Yeah.
up against a particularly quick football player. And I particularly love it when he does it and he's been booked anyway. He's just like, he doesn't even look at the booking. He's like, no, no, it's over there. It's over there. It's over there. So, yeah, these are some of my favorite forms of gamemanship. Steve, we've played football together. What's your preferred bit of gamesmanship?
I'm a massive fan of the fake concern. The faux concern, was it for Curtis Jones?
Yes, so
When you,
right at the end, we're talking 97
yeah,
minutes of that 98. He missed time tackle, fouls Curtis Jones's ankle, and then again does that trick with Soboslai, stands in the way, and then when Soboslai's trying to get the ball, he's like picks up the ball up. He's like, no, the free kick's over there. So Soboslai's half trying to nick the ball off him, while Cunha stood over Curtis, just like, no, 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 you can't take the free kick yet. You come on, Curtis is hurt, and which is he's a great actor. Look, it's a skill.
it's wonderful, isn't it? It's because you win the game and you plant a flag in the moral high ground as well. Player welfare. It's a beautiful thing to watch. In attack, I've been trying to rack my brain. I can't think of. I mean, Marcus Rojo jumps to mind for shithousery as one of the. It wasn't very subtle, but he
Marcus
loved
Rojo
it.
never got a red card, which
I
he
know,
never got a
but
red
I
card at
think yeah,
Manchester United, which is one of those stats my friend Casey always brings up, and I'm always going, "How?"
it's brilliant. Juan Mata got more red cards than him. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But in attack, we've not had that many leading exponents of the shithousery, have we? I
hmm
think probably Rooney's the closest that you could put to that, and that's like 8 years
Rooney,
ago.
Cavani in had a bite, but I'm not sure if you can call him a shithouse. Uh, Carlos Tevez, I know, no, he
Uh,
was a phenomenal shithouse. So arms, elbows. This is largely anecdotal, so I'm sorry I can't remember the actual facts and figures. But there is a particular game he's got in a United shirt, and he's it like they're going for a corner, and he's just being awful, just do 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 do. And the centre back basically after the corner's cleared, the centre back like drags him back to try and say, "Oi, what you doing?" And Tevez is half apologising for what he's doing, but his foot, he's stamping on the guy's big toe while he's doing it. And it's a brilliant one of like top half. He's looking, oh no, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And bottom half, he's just drilling this guy. So if it's the centre back, I think the centre back reacted and got a booking. I'll have to double check if this happened, but it's that these are skills you can't get taught, not by a
Yes.
coach.
Yeah.
These are skills you will very often pick up perhaps in the area where you play football. So you talk about Rooney, Croxteth, you'll learn two or three things playing football there. Or
Mhm.
quite a few of these players, if they've got older brothers, you learn tricks like that. Because I think one thing is shithousery isn't just being a bully and isn't just beating people up. It's a really interesting combination of competitiveness, which is I'm going to make my team play better by making you worse. I'm going to annoy you to such a point where you cannot pay attention to what you're doing. And while I'm doing that, three or four of my other mates are now often doing something else. So I'll make a confession. There was a point where last time we played football, I bent over during a set piece and I untied my opposition's shoelace. So I just do that little bend over, and as I'm bent over, I'm going over and I'm untying your shoelace. And you either notice that I've done it or you don't notice that I've done it. Uh,
Sweet.
but
Right
either
over my
way,
head.
boom, done. So that was a trick I used to do quite a lot. I may have played football at Hackney Marshes two or three times in my life, and that was the sort of thing we used to do all there. I think it's also really important when you are trying to be a shit house. There's got to be a technical skill there too, and I think
Yep.
Cunha's really good because he years ago I spoke to Yaya Toure about the importance of having a big buttocks when you play football and shielding the ball while having a big buttocks, and he often said it's very important to know the sharp corners of your body. So how to get your shoulder, how to get your elbow into someone, how to use your hips to protect the ball. And a lot of
Yep.
shithousery is just using these parts of your body to do certain things in certain parts of the game. You've also got to be aware of when you should be doing this. You can't be doing this sort of nonsense minute five of a match, right? You've got to be able to do it and also be able to do it when the match official isn't looking. So right now, one of the best shit houses in the Premier League is Ben White because we all know what Ben White does now at corner kicks. If he's at a corner kick, he's going to be stood around the goalkeeper and he's going to be pinching. He's going to be trying to undo the goalkeeper's glove. He's going to be doing loads of things that aren't necessarily rule breakers, but it means the goalkeeper or whoever he's on that attacking set piece cannot focus on what they're doing, and that takes courage, sneaky
Mhm.
courage, shall we say? You've got to be sly like a fox. You've got to have very good match reading abilities. You've got to make sure the referee's not looking. You've also got to have people skills, proper in the word, but you've got to know who am I trying to shithouse?
Yes.
Because some players aren't going to bite in the same way others do. So Cunha's good at this right now. I think someone who is very, very good at it and doesn't get enough credit for being good at it, and I mean this as a compliment, Mason Mount is a phenomenal shithouse.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And
Yeah.
one of the reasons why Mason Mount is a phenomenal shithouse is because he looks very nice. He looks like a nice boy. He's a football player that two or three coaches might describe as the perfect son-in-law. And because he looks like that, he can get away with two or three little stamps and little nods in the way that say someone who looks like Lissandro Martinez might not be able to get away with because Lissandro Martinez has a more aggressive personality. So it's definitely a skill. This is the dark arts. This involves deception, and also the best ones I often find have a degree of technical awareness and people skills that others don't. Right. The thing about being a shithouse is you're not meant to get booked for being one because then you're just being silly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else I've missed out? Good shithouse for United.
Casemiro's got a little bit about him.
Oh yeah. So when Casemiro was at Real Madrid, Barcelona said he had the cloak of invisibility
Ha!
because
Yeah.
the way he'd be able to tackle people and do what should be yellow card fouls and not get a yellow card. Casemiro is one of the greatest ever. I've never seen someone give an on-pitch apology for a foul to the same level and care as Casemiro. He's amazing at doing a foul and then his exaggerated way of saying sorry to a point where the referee forgets that he's meant to book him is really,
Yeah.
really good. Do you remember the game under Ten Hag at Selhurst Park? This is I think it's Elise's last minute equaliser.
Oh, the 1-1. Yeah, Bruno scored. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a game where there was a pitch invader who like ran
Yeah.
on the field and took a selfie with Casemiro, and no one noticed. until he was already taking a selfie with Casemiro. I remember being in the field going, how does Casemiro do it? Casemiro's just very good at not being visible to the naked eye. And I think that goes a long way into being a good shithouse. Um, anyone else?
Probably not. But I think that the point is that there's a lot more than there used to be. It's a
Yes.
growing factor. It's a growing edge, which we've absolutely needed.
Hmm.
And
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm all for Cunha being the poster boy for that going forward.
Well, and here's the thing about being a shithouse. You don't be a poison ball for too long. You have to go up and go down and retreat and whatnot. I think it's I don't like talking too much about how good Mason Mount is at being a shithouse because I don't want referees to realise how good he is at being a shithouse. In the same way that Arsenal fans are very, very good at not talking about what Ben White does because they don't want the rest of the world to realise how good that football player is. So when I was a Southampton reporter, I think I got maybe 6 months into it and I went, James Ward-Prowse is a really good shithouse. And the Sound fans are going, shh, no one needs to know. No one needs to know. So while it's great that Cunha is one, I hope no one realizes he is one for too long.
Yes.
Here's one. Is Bruno Fernandes a shithouse?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
Can't really quantify that. I don't. No, I don't think he would necessarily lower himself. Maybe.
Because he's sneaky. He's sneaky and he can be very good at winning penalties and falling down, shall we say.
Mm,
Um, and he can irritate. Does he qualify? Should we leave this one to the comment section?
I think we should.
All right then. Is
I'm
Bruno
very keen
Fernandez
to see.
does
I've never
Bruno
thought of it
Fernandez
that way
qualify
before.
as a shithouse? Yes or no? We'll leave that to
There
comment
you go.
section.
I'll stick a poll on X. Wonderful. But that's great, Carl. Thank you so much for your time. Really,
No
really
problem.
appreciate you. And
Thanks for
yeah,
having me.
top man. Thank you.
All right.